as opposed to 3 restarts. New episode.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to pull myself a Oettinger.
We're going.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're on. Yeah.
Oh.
Cool.
This is Mark Original, brewed according to the German purity law. I thought the German purity law ended a long time ago. It actually says that on there.
There you go.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Uneducated Opinion podcast, where 2 guys sit down, drink beers, talk about everything and anything, mostly things that they don't know about.
Yeah.
I'm your co-host Andy, and
I'm Steve.
and guys, welcome to
Episode 6.
this episode on German purity.
Yeah.
We're going for the perfect Aryan brew.
Andy has a habit of using jokes that I'm not allowed to make.
I'm also in the habit of brewing. I'm also in the habit of pouring beers really badly. This is 99% froth right now. So we'll just let that sit for a little bit, and we'll start the podcast.
Cool.
How you doing?
Good. Really good.
Have you had many German Pilsners before?
I have never had a German Pilsner before. I've had a couple of darker German beers that one of the ladies from the gym brought in once to a Christmas party.
Yep.
I'm already not a massive fan of dark beer, so I think that...
Well, this isn't dark.
No, but the beers that she brought in, I wasn't a massive fan of.
Yeah.
But I think I'm already not a massive fan of dark beer. So is it a wheat beer?
No, it's not. I did say that last time. It is a barley beer.
Okay.
So
right.
like a regular beer. The ingredients are water, barley malt, hops extract. I thought it said hops extract. I was like, sextract. And it's best before 2020. So we're well within the use by date of this.
Cool.
beer.
And it's non-GMO.
That is really good because I'm sick of the Gamo's
Beer.
beer.
Yeah.
And just,
So this isn't made by them.
yeah.
Also, I can't understand 90% of the stuff that's written on it because 90% of it is written in German. That's all right. Don't cheers again. Here I was patiently waiting
Sorry.
for your
I knew as
patiently
soon as I
waiting
did
for
it.
your froth to dissipate. Cheers.
What do you think? Hate it? Love it?
I like it, but I'm also really thirsty.
Yeah.
Which helps. Did we talk about that last week? I had one of the guys I was away with. We got table water, and we'd been out wandering around all day. Hadn't really drunk any water, but they brought table water over while we were waiting for our beers. And I went to grab my water, and he grabbed my hand, and he was like, "Don't." And he's like, I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because when you're this thirsty, the first sip of beer is going to taste incredible." And I was like, good point. So we waited, and it did. The first sip of beer was awesome. By the time I got to the bottom of that beer, I wasn't even enjoying it. But the first 3 sips were unreal.
Yeah. I've been there, and it is nice.
It is.
I want people that are watching this to know that we're drinking out of some really cool beer mugs, and I'll tell you the story about this.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a garage sale with Kush, and she saw them, and she's like, "We must have them," and that's why we have them.
I really thought that was going to go further.
Nope.
Is it actually how you got them?
Yeah.
They
so
are cool.
They're very cool. I mean, when she said we should get these, I was
Are they just a ceramic? They are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was instantly like, yes, 100%. But what's really cool is the only beers that kind of fill these up are beers like that, the big, tall glass thingies.
Yeah.
Because what is this? It says
0.52
what is that?
would be litres.
No, as in like, beer size. Like, it's
Zero.
not a schooner, it's not.
Oh, I don't even know, because remember we spoke about this a little while ago, and I was giving you a whole bunch of measurements. Well, I went back through that podcast and cross-checked myself with actual facts, and I didn't get a single one of them right.
Okay.
So all my measurements were off.
So MIDI is not 275?
No, and I said 200 or 220, but I think maybe is $2.75
Oh, it is $2.75.
potentially. Yeah.
And then
again, I can't remember.
$3.75.
$4.25
$4.25.
apparently. Yeah.
Because what like a regular beer is like $3.75, right?
Yeah. So apparently, you can't quite pour a regular beer into a schooner, like to fill it,
Yeah. Okay.
which I think makes sense. A proper schooner.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
That is podcast about beers. Knows nothing about beers
Yeah. At all.
at all.
So we're going to talk a bit about the taste.
Yeah.
or-
Describe the taste to me. Actually, describe the look of it because.
It's
the-
very light.
Yeah, but it's one thing to drink out of a clear glass, but drinking out of ceramic makes this thing look like, cold urine in a basin.
Tastes similar too. No, I actually don't mind the taste. It's a good beer. But
It's really nice cold.
yeah. It's
You don't know what it's going to taste like if it warms up.
Well, why do you taste warm beer?
I don't know, but remember, who's that? Anna? Is it Anna?
Yeah.
She was like, the bean must have been really bad because it took me
Oh
an entire
no, she was
podcast.
making fun of my coffee making
Ah,
skills.
okay, alright, yeah,
when
alright.
in reality, she's right. It was poor coffee beans.
Coffee
It wasn't the poor coffee making.
Yeah.
We were working with bad beans.
It wasn't. That's just how I drink coffee, Anna. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
have not acquired the taste yet.
No, Andy doesn't. I think that was his first black coffee, wasn't it? First time he had black.
I've tried it before, but that's the first time I haven't spat it out.
Okay. Yeah, right. Because what are you drinking at the moment? Mochas, if you do drink a coffee.
I just haven't drank coffee in a while. I had a Red Bull at Nationals.
Did you? I had Red Bull yesterday. Yeah.
Do you train on Red Bulls and stuff? Because a lot of people do that, right?
No, not really. I just had one. I was on my way home, and I just felt like one. Since I went on that trip and we went to Red Bull,
Yeah.
and I tried a couple of things over there. I was just, I don't know why. I've justified it in my head somehow that like
It's fine.
I can have Red Bull or two a week.
Yeah.
Like
Because it's really bad for you, right?
the chemicals are not good for you. Yeah.
What chemicals?
I don't know, but I know that they're not good for you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Like I know the stuff. There's a reason why you shouldn't drink them, right? I don't know whether if it's just a massive amount of caffeine. I could probably have 2 Red Bulls a day and have the same amount of caffeine as I'm getting from the amount of coffee I drink anyway. Like
How many
if I
coffees
would've
do you
cut
have
the
a day?
Today I've had 3 double shots so far, and I'll have another one when I get to work this afternoon. So I will have had 8 shots of coffee.
That's a lot, considering that I've had 0 shots of coffee.
It's a bit, but also
Yeah.
I feel like people don't realise that if you get a large coffee, like that's 2 shots.
Yeah.
There. So it's not like I'm ordering an extra shot. I'm just getting a large coffee, and they put 2 shots of coffee in. Whereas if you get a small coffee, they're just using a single basket, or if they are using a double basket, then they're only using one side of the portafilter.
I feel like you would be better suited to a podcast about coffee.
No, that's already been done.
I'm just saying that you seem to know a lot about coffee, maybe more than some of the podcasts that are about coffee.
Yeah, I definitely know more than those other dickheads. No, everything I know about coffee is from conversations with those other dickheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do enjoy coffee and I do drink a bit of it. And I do try and make a decent coffee at home. Like now we got a coffee machine there and that sort of thing. I just need to find a better set of beans to use.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so sorry. I rudely interrupted you while you were describing
The beer taste. I don't know whether I think it's what we're drinking out of.
Yeah.
Do you know, like when you drink out of, for example, again, you probably don't really understand it, but if you drink water even, if you're drinking a glass of water
Yeah,
out
I
of
don't
a,
understand.
out of a, yeah, I know. I'm just changing my tone. If you drink water out of a mug, like a ceramic mug, it just, something about drinking that water like doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
The same thing about now, I'm drinking a beer out of a ceramic cup. I feel like the ceramic is taking away from the taste of the beer.
Yeah, 100%.
Same as some people don't like drinking out of an aluminium cup.
Yeah.
I don't like unless it's coffee or tea. Keep the ceramic away from me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, some people love drinking out of cans.
Yeah,
And some
like
people
I
hate drinking out of
I love drinking out of a can. Like it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I've tried to drink beer out of ceramic, and it's just not sitting very well with me.
Yeah.
But I would say,
It's probably similar to like when you described to me the difference between having a bong and a joint. And I'm like, I don't understand that because I don't do that stuff. But Steve, I'm just kidding. He's never said that to me.
Yeah, that's just after Andy finished explaining the difference between Molly and ecstasy to me. Again, only from personal experience.
Let me
God.
tell you what I think about this beer.
You tell me. I feel like it's a little bit more towards the line of like what we said about Peroni. Like
It's black.
it's a bit bland. Like it's no overpowering flavors that make me go, oh, that's really good or that's really bad. But I'm drinking it going, it's okay.
See, I thought you would like this more than Peroni because it's bitterer. So it's more similar to like a
A VB?
VB.
Uh,
Can you taste the bitterness?
yeah, I can. Mm.
But it's not.
It's more of an aftertaste than an initial taste.
Which is a good thing about the VB is that it doesn't have like a really strong aftertaste.
Mm. Yeah, because it punches you in the face with the first sip anyway.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so it's like a weaker aftertaste.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Adrian's going to be really disappointed with this beer selection as well.
Yeah, he seemed to not be overly happy with it.
He's a
did he?
huge beer snob though. I
Is
must
he?
say, yeah.
Yeah, what was he talking about that he tried the other day? He tried an old of some sort. He was talking
yeah,
about it on the Instagram page.
Yeah, he went out and like he ordered a bunch of all these like fancy ass beers, and like spent a boatload of money just getting like a couple of different ones to try.
Mm.
He loves his beer,
Mm.
and I don't feel like he's someone that I'd talk to and be like, yeah, you know a lot more about beer than I do.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a podcast
About beer instead of
About
us.
beer, yeah.
Yeah. We do try and make sure that by the 15-minute mark of the podcast, though, we're off the topic of beer, though,
Generally, yeah.
because we know that we don't know what we're talking about.
But yeah, let's go through a rating because we haven't rated them. I guess we didn't have beer last week, but we can include the coffee in the beer rating.
Okay. Yep.
So what's your rating out of the 6 drinks we've
That we've had. Top to bottom or bottom to top?
Let's start at the top.
Start at the top. The Swindler is still my number one. The Squire.
But that's your favorite beer.
That's my favourite beer. It's
Yeah.
going to be at number one unless you bring me something new that I haven't tried before.
Ooh, that's a challenge that I'm willing
Yeah,
to try.
for sure. So number one is the Swindler. Number two is the VB. Number three is the Furphy. Number four is this. Number five is the Peroni. Oh, the coffee. Yeah, number six.
You didn't like a coffee either. You didn't like a quadruple shot of coffee.
No, I just like beer.
Yeah. Fair enough. I would say number one, Swindler as well. I really like the Swindler.
It's good beer.
And I think just that day, first podcast, I was so excited and very thirsty. It was just so tasty.
I think that's our sit around the pool and have a beer choice for this week, this summer.
Yep.
For sure.
Number two would have to be the... Wait, you didn't even mention the Furphy.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Number two would have to be the... I think I'm changing around. I think I'm going Peroni number two.
Peroni number two.
Yeah, Peroni number two.
But Peroni's so bleh.
Yeah, it is, but it was like an easy drink for
Yeah.
that day. Furphy number three. Oh, actually, no. I'll put this at number three.
Before the Furphy?
Before the Furphy.
Mhm.
Then the Furphy at number 4. Then the coffee at number 5.
Oh,
then the
the
VB.
VB at last. Oh, you still had two of them, so I don't know what you're complaining about. I love VB.
as well.
Yeah, that's more offending as I said, my nostalgia. That's offending my nostalgic thoughts about VB. I actually, maybe this would be in front of Furphy. It's not in front of VB, but I think it might be in front of Furphy. I am enjoying this, and as I said, I think if I was drinking it out of a glass,
You'd enjoy it more.
I think I'd enjoy it more. I really think that makes a big difference. Have you ever played around much with like mango beers and stuff?
Yeah, do you want to have the Matzo mango beer? Are we allowed to have ginger beers?
If they're alcoholic. No, we can have ginger beer regardless.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'd like, have you had, so Matzo obviously makes a mango beer,
Mm.
but they also make a ginger beer.
Really?
And their ginger beer is really tasty.
Really? Mm. There's an alcoholic ginger beer.
It's alcoholic.
Is it?
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
It might be the same one, but there's an alcoholic ginger beer that, you know that restaurant on Anna Grove Road, Mezzy Me?
Yeah.
Down the
I think
bottom
so,
of the dip
yeah.
on the right where the nursery is.
Yeah.
They had an alcoholic ginger beer on tap for
On tap?
ages. And I used to go there because I had a mate that was working there. So when the Ashes was on, we'd go sit down, and because it's always quiet, he'd come sit down and we'd have a ginger beer together while we watched the cricket.
Yeah.
But they ended up taking it off tap over there because of that exact reason. Like the employees were just drinking the alcoholic ginger beer. Like, it tastes so good. But I think they've still got it in bottles, but I couldn't tell you the name of it, the brand. That's also the first time I really enjoyed a pale ale, was at that restaurant. They had a Kolsch pale ale, which is a German pale ale,
Yeah.
off tap, and that was
You just said you haven't
really,
had a
really
German
nice.
beer before.
It just clicked with me that I have,
Okay.
that one, the Kolsch, which was really, really nice. In fact, I've tried to search for that again before, but it seems to be hard to find in like a normal bottle shop.
Yeah. Yeah, weird. Anyway, you have a topic for us.
Topic. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was going to ask you, and I've got an example because I know it's poorly framed how I'm trying to explain it. Do you have you made any links in your own life of when you've started doing one thing more or doing another thing less or something, how it has affected mood, motivation, like all that sort of thing in later? And my example that will help you understand it a little bit better is when I go through a phase where I don't drink at all, and so the last 3 weeks, I really haven't drunk that much since coming back from the States, or maybe the last week and a half even, I find that my motivation for everything is significantly higher. So even if I'm in a phase where I'm only drinking 2 beers on a Saturday night with Dad while we watch the footy or something like that, if I cut that out altogether and I go 3 weeks without drinking, I find my motivation to pick up the computer and do some work or do some uni or send some emails or something like that, it's not even a thought. It's just I'll pick it up and I'll do that. Whereas if I have had any beers over the last couple of weeks, or if I'm in a phase of having 2 beers a week or more, going out on a bender on the weekend, my motivation to do that is super duper low. And it's really a battle for me to pick up the computer and actually do work. So my link is between sort of alcohol. When I drink as a fairly regular thing, my motivation to get work done is extremely low. Even to the point where even outside of work, things like libido, just sex drive is a lot lower when I'm drinking on weekends and that sort of thing. And you think about it when you're drunk, that's when you go out and chat to girls and stuff, but it's for the week afterwards, just absolutely no interest at all.
Why do you think that is the case with alcohol? Is it the alcohol itself, or is it the habit of drinking alcohol?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know whether if it's the habit of drinking alcohol or whether if there's a residual effect to the depressive nature of alcohol that just sort of fluctuates mood over the week. Because I know there's been some studies done that show even, this isn't mental state, but muscle inflammation levels in the body and that sort of thing can last up to a week after even just 2 beers on a weekend.
Yeah.
You still have increased inflammation levels. Because at the end of the day, when alcohol comes in, the body's just recognizing it as a poison, right? So the body's doing everything it can to get rid of that. So maybe that sympathetic effect of switching the brain on is just a long-lasting thing. So your ability to then switch off and focus on other things is maybe really lessened.
So do you think of alcohol as a poison all the time?
Do I think of it that way? No, but the body perceives it that way, right?
Do you think
It's
drinking alcohol is a bad thing?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I ask is I wonder whether it's because you think of alcohol as a bad thing, then when you drink it, you're being naughty, and by not drinking it, you're exercising discipline in your head. And then because every time you
That
exercise,
causes me to be disappointed in other areas.
yes, and
Yeah.
every time you exercise discipline, then willpower is like a muscle. You
train
know,
it,
you
yeah.
train it. You're getting better and better at being willful,
Yeah.
and then that leads to progresses in other areas of your life.
Yeah. It could even be slightly I guess it's almost what we're saying with it being almost a negative placebo effect.
Yeah.
Is almost what you're describing.
Well, I'm thinking of it as a psychosocial, whereas you're going physiological,
Yeah, is there a physiological thing?
Yeah.
I like your approach because I hadn't thought about that before. Especially now that you say that, draws back a memory that when Jane, that you live with, stopped drinking for however long she stopped drinking for, she didn't drink for ages. And then I saw her and she actually
That didn't last, by the way.
yeah, and she actually said to me like, you don't realize until you haven't had a drink for 2 or 3 weeks how much better you feel.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe, and I like believed it straight away. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, of course. Da da da. And then I stopped drinking for like 5 weeks leading into the Open 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and didn't drink all through the Open. And I was like, even when the Open's on, like that's a stressful time for me doing the Open, and I'm still finding time to get more than enough uni work done, be ahead on my gym work, like my programming work, getting all my training in, getting the Open done, like maintaining social relationships still and all that sort of thing. But is that a connection that I have then made with not drinking alcohol because it's something that Jane put in my head ages
Yeah.
ago, or is it actually a physiological thing that's happening? Or is it what you said where I sort of think to myself, I'm in a really good phase when I'm not drinking alcohol because I'm probably using my weekends more effectively towards like career building or training. And then, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I completely understand. I'm just letting you get your thoughts out.
Or do I, or is it actually something physiological that's happening that's not being influenced by my thought process about it? Because you're right, I think about alcohol as being like, if I'm going through a phase of 5 weeks where I'm not drinking alcohol, it's generally a phase where I'm trying to just sort some shit out, so I'm being more disciplined during that point of time. And then when I am going out and drinking on the weekends, it's generally a phase where I'm laying back and relaxing
Yeah.
and not getting as much work done.
I guess if we take into account what alcohol is, like, you know, it's obviously against the law to like drive on alcohol. It's generally frowned upon to train on alcohol, to study on alcohol, or basically participate in any of the things
Mentally
that...
taxing?
Well, no, just not mentally taxing. Any of the things that require any higher cognition, right? So you shouldn't work on alcohol, and you shouldn't... the only thing that's acceptable is having sex on alcohol, sleeping on alcohol, watching TV on alcohol, and, I don't know, like...
Social settings.
Social settings, right?
Yeah.
So, if you... Like, none of those can directly correlate to you working and doing all of that stuff. So, instantaneously, there's like this...
Psychosocial surrounding.
Effect where you're like, you know, I can't do that stuff if I'm doing this. At the same time, like, alcohol can be a way of, you know, unwinding, right?
For sure.
For a lot of people. Not saying that it's the way or...
The healthiest way.
You know, like for me, like I'm not a big drinker, but I enjoy beers. Like I love the taste of them. It's something that is pleasant for us to bond over.
Yeah.
But again, I'm the exact same as you. Like leading up to a competition, I will generally cut out all alcohol because it makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah.
You know, even though my training hasn't changed, my diet might not even change that much, but like cutting out alcohol is like I'm winning. You know?
It's something you're doing towards preparation.
Yeah, I'm being proactive.
Yeah.
In that way.
Okay, that's a good point.
But I don't know, like
Because that is the first thing I do in the middle of like competition
Open,
season
yeah.
is like, oh, just cut the alcohol out. Everything else stays the same.
Well, I wonder if you switch the script a little bit and not talk about alcohol. So like big vice of mine is not getting enough sleep. And it's something that I've started really heavily tracking, but I haven't changed the behavior yet. So I get, you know, like I can sometimes on average get like 6 hours sleep, which is like terrible for someone who's like trying to compete.
Competitively.
Compete competitively. Someone
at a good level is what I mean.
yeah, at a good level. And you know, like someone who's like trying to train pretty hard.
Yeah.
And like we know this because this is the sphere that we play in.
Yeah.
And you tell someone that was doing that, like, hey, you need to get your head out of your ass. You need to stop training and spend those hours sleeping or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like if I go, like that affects other things in my life. Because like I'll wake up tired.
Yeah.
I'll spend a lot of that morning maybe groggy.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a bit of dip in energy, and then like come later in the afternoon, again, I'll be groggy again. So like, Is that kind of what you're asking about?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's really coming at it from, like you said, more of a psychosocial standpoint, which makes actually probably more sense than the physiological link that I'm trying to make somehow, because we know that it's not great for you from a health standpoint, and we know that it's not great for you the day after, and maybe even the day after that, but is it having as much of a lasting effect as what maybe I'm perceiving it to have?
Yeah.
Especially if it's only, I'm having 2 beers on a Saturday night, like is that really affecting my motivation levels on a Wednesday from a physiological standpoint? And also what's going on in your head, if there is some sort of physiological or biochemical thing going on with the alcohol itself and the reactions happening inside your body, how does that actually link to the part of your brain that handles motivation and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, I guess a good experiment for you to do with the alcohol is, let's say you like to watch a footy or cricket or whatever dumb sports you watch on TV on a Sunday.
And he can't catch a ball, so that's why he doesn't like them.
On a Sunday with your dad, you have like 2 beers or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe if you exercise restraint and have 1 beer, limit yourself, and see how that affects your motivation levels. And then you can see whether it's physiological or cognitive.
I also find, and I don't know whether if you find this as well, there's definitely certain, and obviously a social setting is one of them, but there's...
This seems like a really smart podcast today.
Yeah. Obviously the social setting is a big one, but there's certain settings where you just are there and something in the back of your head goes, oh, I should have a drink.
Yeah.
For this particular setting. This podcast is becoming one of them. Like whenever we sit down and have a podcast.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
like,
an immense pressure to be drinking at all times during this podcast. I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
But there is a pressure to do that.
There is a pressure to do it. I feel like we're we're overly conscious about how much alcohol we drink for people that are trying to do a podcast about drinking alcohol.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like we're the wrong type of people to be doing this podcast.
What a strange paradox that we've created for ourselves.
It is. But even like, so if I sit down and watch the cricket, it could be, if the Ashes is on and it's 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, just the fact that I'm sitting down and watching the cricket, there's that link in my head that's like, oh, I should have a beer because I'm watching the cricket.
Do you think that if you watched a more interesting sport, you wouldn't need to drink beer the whole time?
Like what, Andy? What's more interesting sport than cricket?
I don't know. UFC.
UFC. Yeah. So
badminton.
I wouldn't even want to have beer if I was sitting down watching the fight.
Badminton.
Unless I'm watching it out. Badminton. Yeah. Snooker. Snooker's pretty interesting. I feel
Golf.
like you have much less of an appreciation for a skill level of a sport than I do. I think that's what's going on.
Probably.
Maybe because you haven't played them.
No, I tried. They're too hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, that's an interesting. Oh, like, give me another example of like something. I think the drinking is a bad example because we don't want to convince people not to drink. That is not our place. We want
Okay,
people
so
to drink. That's for
training.
our other podcast, my other podcast,
Your other podcast.
the Raw Barbell Club podcast.
Training then. I feel like this is a topic we could delve into very deeply on your podcast.
Yeah. This feels like my podcast,
Yeah.
not your podcast. Our podcast.
Training, no, my podcast, that's fine. Training, for example, training levels are high, libido is generally high as well, along with it. But I think that's a testosterone
Unless you're
thing.
overtraining.
Unless you're overtraining. But they talk about that as being like a really good sign for overtraining, like a sudden loss in libido is like, okay, you're probably starting to push the envelope a little bit too much, starting to overreach, and you need to tone it back a little bit. I think though, because training does stimulate that testosterone release, which is linked to your sex drive, I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
I think, anyway, like I think that's I feel like that's a pretty clear cut connection that you can make between the two, which explains it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people that are not competitive exercisers, I say that because, like, even though weightlifting is a sport, it really is like competitive exercise. You use weightlifting to improve other sports as well.
Yeah.
Same thing with CrossFit. So, you know, we always joke that CrossFit is competitive exercising,
Yeah.
but really weightlifting is exactly the same.
Powerlifting.
Powerlifting's the same. I guess maybe sometimes strongman
Strongman,
can be
yeah.
similar too. But you know, if you're just training for like life fitness, then definitely like just turning up to the gym a couple of days a week is going to drastically improve your testosterone levels and potentially your libido
Yeah.
if it wasn't already high.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an older person, right? If you're like 30s to 40s, then you're definitely gonna get some, you know, carryover. And you don't have to train every day. I think 3 to 4 days is pretty
More
good.
than enough. Well, we've talked about it before, and again, this is so much more a conversation for your podcast, but we've talked about it before where there is a very big difference between training to be a competitive athlete and training for longevity and health.
Yeah.
Like, the training to be a competitive athlete is talking about driving as much adaptation as possible without injury, and training to be healthy is about maintaining really.
Yeah.
Like, it's about maintaining good bone health, joint health, hormone levels, body fat percentage, so body composition, all those things, more so than driving for a performance indicator.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like if you were to graph them, you'd have like your training for competitive performance would kind of look like an exponential graph. Like as you train, you're going to train more and more and more and
And
more.
stimulus needs to get higher
And the
and higher
stimulus
and
needs to get
higher.
higher
Yeah.
and higher, which is why it's exponential.
Yeah.
And then training for like general health is just going to look like a straight line going up.
Yeah, a fairly linear increase as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you look at injury risk, you can just basically plot that across.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you get older, your injury risk will increase just
Yeah.
because of the age. Whereas if you have that exponential graph, it's going to cross over a lot
Yeah.
lot faster. I think that's a decent way of graphing it. Maybe the injury graph would actually be a linear curve this way. Sorry,
For
not
what,
linear.
competitive or for
For competitive athletes.
linear curve downwards?
Sorry,
Trending
for
downwards.
someone who's steady.
Every day. Yeah, I think because stimulus is never getting to the point, it's always fairly minimal for training for longevity. Like stimulus is pretty minimal. I think the load isn't. There'd have to be. There would be some sort of crossover point on the graph where injury risk would then cross below training stimulus, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. So
But in saying that,
actually,
it's very hard to plot those. You can't really plot those two things on the same XY.
I think you could, because like on the steady state.
This is no longer the uneducated opinions
Yeah.
podcast, by the way.
On the like, if you were to graph like training for like health and lifestyle, injury risk would just track underneath it like this. Because
Depending on proper training, you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because anytime you just decided to stop training, your injury risk would go up, right?
So you're talking about if it was a relative graph rather
Yeah.
than necessarily an actual
Yeah.
numerical value. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense.
And then for
sure.
the competitive one, the lines will be like this close together.
Yeah, really riding that envelope.
Because anytime you go over, you're more likely to injure yourself.
Yeah.
And anytime you go under, you'll probably fall over.
Can you ever train with an almost zero injury risk?
No.
No.
Well, yes, I guess you can.
And are injuries just a way of sport? Like injuries just, unfortunately, there's just times where like you can't look back and be like, in non-contact
Yeah.
sports, you can't look back and be like, maybe I overreached a bit here. But something just happens.
Well, I think human error is the paradigm of sport. So like,
Yeah.
you can't not have, like, if you took the human error out of it, it would no longer be sport.
Yes.
I was having a really cool conversation with someone the other day about, like they're bringing in like video refs and
Yep.
video whatever, and I was like, why don't they just take away the human refs and make it like an AI that, like good lift, bad lift, easy, like in weightlifting, that would be very easy to do. And I was thinking like, that was good. And then what he said was, maybe that is actually a bad idea because the human error, even in refereeing, is part of the sport. And if you take away the humanity from it, then it's no longer.
I think maybe it's part of. I think maybe it's more part of the culture rather than the sport.
True. But like in
And
rugby
what
and stuff.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is not culture on field, is you would almost take away from, if you're looking at professional sport or even social sport, the ability to then
Yell at the ref.
go off the pitch and have a whinge about something that happened on the pitch.
Yep.
If everything that happened on the pitch was always perfect by the book call, all of a sudden you take away a whole aspect of controversy with sport, and then that takes away what people can talk about.
Yeah, and
Like-
but that's what generates interest in sports, right? Character,
Media,
flaws,
yeah, for sure.
all of those things.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if there's nothing the media can report on in the NRL, like if they stopped hitting women, then what would they talk about?
That's completely true, 100%. Like I'm already bored with the NRL now because of that.
Yeah.
Like, bring it back. I'm just kidding.
Well, did
That's-
you see? You see, there was a good Batuta Advocate article the other day that was like, off-season starts early with a flurry of flurry of haymakers thrown outside a Balinese nightclub. Because did you see one of the players
Yeah,
was over there?
yeah,
It's like the season's been over for like 6 weeks, man, and you're already getting yourself in trouble throwing punches in
That
Bali.
guy's massive.
Huge.
What is he, like 7'2" or something?
Yeah, something like. No, he's not that big.
He's big though.
He's big. He's like 6'9" or something.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like who tried to start a fight with him?
Don't know.
What idiot walks up to someone and is like, "Hey, mister, fight me."
It's probably more.
His
He
wife.
walks up to someone and goes, "Hey mate, fight me," and then starts swinging, because that tends to be how NRL players work.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I say
Jimmy
that from my
Stevens.
high. I say that from my high and mighty union standpoint. Where I'm like, we never do anything wrong, but that's not true at all.
Why? What do union players do?
I reckon they almost do everything that the others do. It's just better covered up because they're, as a general rule, slightly more intelligent.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're not dumb enough to do stuff.
Or do you think
like-
it's less in the media because it's like a shitter sport as well? I don't know.
shitter sport or less covered sport in this country?
Well, isn't that what shitter sport means?
No, I think we drive. I think union drives.
I used to play union as well, though. By the way, just to let people know, I wasn't good, but I played.
I think union drive. It drives less media story, but it probably drives less media story half because of that reason, that like there's not as much stuff for the media to report on as far as people doing the wrong thing. But also, you're definitely right in saying like rugby league participation is much higher in Australia than rugby unions is. But even rugby league is on like a steady decline.
So rugby league isn't really played all over the world,
No,
right?
it is. So England has the league, but like England has a league, but they play cricket, soccer, and then rugby union, and then rugby league.
Yeah.
It's not like, or sorry, I should probably say soccer, cricket, rugby union, and then rugby league, like way down the bottom. New Zealand and South Africa. There's other countries that play rugby league, but they don't really play rugby league. You know what I mean? Like they
Do
all
you know
have
the
other
history
sports.
of rugby? Like, what came first, union or league?
Rugby union came first. Rugby league had the first World Cup though before we did,
Okay.
I believe. Don't quote me on that. I have looked it up before, and I'm pretty sure that's the way it works, because rugby league players people who socially enjoy watching rugby league,
Yeah.
always argue that league came first, but it didn't. It was like it was an off branch of rugby union because tradies and stuff couldn't afford to go and play rugby union at a university,
Yep.
which is where it came from.
Ah.
It was always the rich boys. It was the rich boys
So
sport.
it's like lacrosse.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Do you know? Have you ever played lacrosse?
No, but it looks really hard.
Apparently, lacrosse is a crazy dangerous sport,
It seems it. It's like hockey, but the ball's constantly flying through the air instead.
and I think you're allowed to cross-check people.
That's
So
cool.
you're allowed to like.
Not whack. That's not what a cross check is.
Yeah, well, it's essentially what a cross-check is.
A cross check is in ice hockey when you can check someone. So checking someone is like bumping them off the puck or bumping them off a play. But a cross check is when you use the cross of your stick and check them like that, rather than a shoulder or an elbow.
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to slash as well.
Yeah, you're allowed to pickaxe them, like with the upside of your stick. In hockey, hockey's really interesting sport. Ice hockey is like obviously
Is it?
Shannon's. Yeah, I really like ice hockey.
Okay.
Like Shannon's obviously played ice hockey for years and years and years, and I never realised that like those movies like Goon and stuff where there's actually players that are on the team as the fighter, so they will come on to sort of like disrupt an opposing player's like good shooter, for example.
Yeah.
Like disrupt him, piss him off, and then the other team's fighter will come on and it'll literally just be, oh, the other team's fighter's on. All right, cool. So we're meeting in the middle and taking our gloves and helmets off. Okay, cool. So we're going to go do that. And they just get in the middle, sticks, gloves, helmets off, start punching it on. The refs just circle until someone hits the ground, and then that's it, all over.
Yeah, it's very cool. I don't think it's like that as much here.
Anymore. Or anymore, even
or-
in the
yeah.
NHL. Yeah.
Uh,
It used to
but
be really big.
Definitely, I really enjoyed Goon as a movie.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Goon. And what's that movie where they walk into the locker room and it's, I feel like it's about football. I don't think it is actually Goon. Maybe I'm getting my stories really mixed. And the coach is walking around the locker room going, no fighting to each player. No fucking fighting. And then as they're walking out, one of the players stands up and just knocks the coach out and they all walk out on the pitch.
Yeah, maybe it's like Mighty Ducks.
No, it's not Mighty Ducks.
Which, if you're looking at like the best ice hockey movie ever,
It's up there.
what do you reckon is the best ice hockey movie? I mean, a lot of people will mistakenly say Miracle because they're all like, oh, if you're a fan of the sport, that's a big deal. But I think it's D2,
Is that Shannon? Is that Shannon says that?
maybe.
If you're a fan of the sport. I've actually never seen Miracle.
Okay.
Is it a good movie?
It's alright. It's no D2,
Okay.
Mighty Ducks 2,
Mm.
the greatest
Ice hockey film
movie
ever.
made.
I think Mighty Ducks has to be at the top. Like, it's great.
Yeah, but D2 is when they learn how to knuckle puck, you know. It's
I haven't seen
a
it.
highlight of my childhood.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really like that movie?
I really like D2.
You see that?
D3 is rubbish.
I actually think maybe
Bombay
The Tooth Fairy.
back. With Dwayne The Rock
Yeah,
Johnson?
that's
that
probably
is
the best ice hockey movie ever.
that is a good pick.
Can't even argue that. And what's his name? Who's the skateboarder that's in that as well? Because it's a Disney movie. Ryan Sheckler. He's
Yeah.
in that as well. He plays like the young player that comes into the team.
He was a good skateboarder when he was young.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still a good skateboarder.
I don't know if he skates. This would have been 3 or 4 years ago that I actually managed to flick to the X Games once when I was at home, and he was skating still. But again, that was 3 or 4 years ago, so who knows if he's still skating now. Skateboarding seems to be one of those sports that there's guys that have been hanging around for a long time.
Like Hawk?
Like Hawk, he doesn't skate anymore though. I listened to a Rogan podcast with him a little while ago.
Was it good?
No, not a Rogan podcast, a Whiskey Ginger one. Did you listen to that Nikki Glazer one that I sent you from him?
No.
On his?
Not
No?
yet.
I also haven't listened to any of Daniel Sloss's stuff yet either, which I apologise for.
Terrible. Well, you know, if you have listened to the whole of this podcast, I feel like I should give you some recommendations of stuff to watch or listen, because if you, for some random reason, like what we're talking about, this stuff's a lot better. Go to Netflix and watch Daniel Sloss's live shows, and then what was the podcast you recommended?
Oh, the Whiskey Ginger podcast. So that's Andrew Santino. He's a comedian.
Who you think is very funny?
I think he's very funny. Yeah.
And I think he's a comedian.
He's what a lot of comedians think about other comedians. Like, he does comedy.
Can you really do comedy, or are you just funny? You know who's very funny? My sister.
Is she
Yeah, she's super funny.
funny
And it
enough
makes
to
me-
be professionally funny?
Probably. And it makes me so
Do you think
sad.
you're funny enough to be professionally
No,
funny?
and that's why it makes me so sad.
Because you wish you were.
Because I just wish I had any of her skill sets. And she's younger too.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to know that you were first, but you're not the best sibling. Are you the best sibling out of the three of you?
We'll have to wait and see what Josh does.
Uh-huh. Surprise you all.
He may surprise us all. He may end up making enough money from YouTube videos and gaming. So
Does he have a YouTube channel already?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. I don't know it, and I won't be shouting it out.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, do people follow him? What does he
I
do
don't know.
on YouTube?
I don't know. He just posts like occasional gameplay videos of him playing Fortnite or something,
Yeah,
or
okay.
Call of Duty.
What's Fortnite? I don't know what it is.
Don't you know?
No.
Were you ever into gaming?
No,
when you were
not
younger?
really. I think I
Really?
played RuneScape for a week and was like, nerds.
Nerds.
And then lost all my stuff and got mad and stopped playing.
Hey, are you planning a trip anytime soon? Sorry, I'm about to go way off topic.
To where?
Anyway,
No.
have you got anything coming up? I'm thinking Bali in March.
Yeah, I don't go to Bali for obvious reasons.
Oh, okay, fair. Thailand in March.
I could go to Thailand,
Thailand.
maybe. But Kush is coming here in late Feb. So
Does
that-
Kush want to come to Thailand? She doesn't need to see her family.
No, she's coming for a wedding.
Yeah, okay. Whose wedding?
A friend's from over there.
And they're coming over here?
Like a friend's from over there, but they're Aussies.
Ah, okay, so they're getting married in
So
Australia.
that's what people do. So if you expatriate, you go find other Aussies, become friends with them, and then you just hang around Aussies
Yeah. So you literally leave the country
to go
to
hang
get
around.
away from Australia to go hang out with people that
I'm
did the
from
same
Australia.
thing.
Yeah, but miss Australia as well.
Yeah. Why would you
It's-
ever? I don't know whether if I'd ever want to actually live somewhere else permanently, or if I did. We talked about this at lunch the other day.
Yeah.
If I did move somewhere, say if I moved over to America or something like that,
Please don't leave me.
I would want. We'd have to figure out how to do this online. I would probably want to come back here for like retirement or for
Yeah.
later life. Like I don't
Well-
really think I'd want to live anywhere else. Is it raining or is that the plastic expanding?
No, it's just
Prospects?
expanding. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Australia is the best place to live in the world, in terms of like benefits and how like we're set up.
Mm.
It's our Medicare and medical system is so much better than
Our public health
Everywhere.
system. It's so funny how many people complain about the public health system over here, but have absolutely no concept of. Like I don't have a concept from experience, but
Yeah.
I understand from talking to people that have experienced the healthcare system in other countries how much better our public health system is compared. Like we're supposed to be like maybe number 2 ranked healthcare system in
what's
the
number
world.
one? Sweden, Denmark.
Sweden or something, somewhere where it's completely subsidised.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it might be
exactly
one
where
of
it
those
is.
countries.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Europe, definitely Northern Europe, I think.
Yeah,
Is there anywhere in Europe that you really, really want to go?
I'd love to go to like any of the European. I haven't traveled Europe.
Neither do I. I want to do it though.
So I would love to go to Sweden,
Mm.
Netherlands. I'd love to go to. Apparently, Ireland is really nice,
Apparently it's awesome.
and the people are amazing there.
I think it really
I've got
depends.
obviously 2 Irish blokes that come here.
Do you?
Yeah, and they're hilarious, and I love them. I'd love to meet more of their kind.
We had an Irish bloke that came to the McGrath's Hill gym for a little while.
What's his name? Paul.
Paul, he was really funny. He was a good guy. Good laugh. But yeah, Ireland's supposed to be really, really nice. What kind of holiday are you though? Like, do you go away? I think I know the answer to this, but you can tell everyone. I prefer, if I'm going away, I'm generally going away to feel like I don't have to do anything. Whereas I feel like a lot of people go away, and it's fine, like I go and do that as well, but there's like an itinerary of things you have to see while you're away. And for me, the whole idea of going away is like, I don't have to do shit because I'm away, I'm not at work.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do anything. But if you're with those types of people, you kind of feel like, oh, come on, we still got to get up early so we can go and see this,
Yeah,
and this.
yeah.
And I'm like, no, we have to get up at 10 so I can go sit by the pool and have a beer. Like, I don't have to get up. That's why a lot of my trips are like places like Bali, Thailand, Fiji,
Yeah.
Vanuatu, because they're close. I can go over there for a week and a half and just do nothing for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go away with people that really want to go and see everything, which I think is probably what you're like, it's very hard to do that.
Well, I was gonna ask you, what do you think I am like?
Yeah, I think you are more of a sightseer kind of thing.
No.
No?
I'm a real, like, I'm pretty chill, man.
Generally,
You have
yeah.
to think about the person that I travel with, who's generally Kush.
Yeah. And she's what?
And she loves to, like,
Go
do
see everything?
Which
Okay.
is cool, because, like, I'm way too lazy
Do it
to
yourself.
do that myself.
Yeah.
And I have, like, and that's why I'm with her, because she compliments me. She,
Yeah.
you know, takes me on adventures that I would,
Yeah.
you know, not like to go on. She makes me stay in hostels when I want to stay in a 5-star resort.
Really?
Yeah.
Goes the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
And I have heaps of fun, because, like, I'm hanging out with cool people.
Yeah, that is cool. See, I think that's where maybe because any holiday you've ever gone on, you've been with Kush,
Yeah.
and then you seem like you're always out looking at TV. Are you not finished that beer yet?
Not finished. It's just I'm just trying to take any little scraps because I really like it,
Yeah, it is good.
and I was thirsty.
I feel like we haven't tasted a beer yet that has made me actually go, ugh. Like
Well,
we
we'll
have
have olds next time.
olds, yeah, that'll make me go, for sure.
We'll do it at nighttime though. Olds is a nighttime beer,
By a campfire.
not a daytime beer.
The fire pit will be done out the front of my house soon.
Okay, let's do that. Or maybe if we do a Saturday night or
Maybe we should do it after the open finishes.
oh yeah, okay,
And then we can actually have podcasts, have 2 or 3 beers on the podcast.
cool.
Yeah, sounds
Alright.
good. By the fire. I feel like if I'm sitting around the fire doing the podcast, I'm going to want to have more than one beer,
Yeah,
which is fair. Anyway, back to traveling. I feel like because you've always traveled with Kush and all the photos and stuff that come out, you're doing stuff all the time. But I feel like now I realise maybe that's just because
yeah,
Kush has made you those things. Because I'm exactly like that as well. I'm lucky with the people that I ended up on that America trip with,
yeah,
because any spare time that we had, if I hadn't have been with those people, would have been like, I'll relax now and do nothing. Whereas some of the people that I was with, it kind of forced me to be like, oh yeah, you guys are going to have a look at that? Okay, yeah, I'll go have a look at that with you.
yeah.
So I got to actually go see some cool stuff that I would not have gone and seen on my own.
Yeah, I mean, like, I still do stuff. I'm not like, and it depends where I'm going. Like, Vancouver's not a place where you just like chill out
By
the pool
Yeah.
because it's, you know, it's green. It's a very like you have to be out in nature place. And you know, if you're on that, you know, indica sativa hybrid, like, you're not feeling like you need to sit down and sleep. You just want to move
What were the
around.
dispensaries like in Vancouver?
They are amazing.
Are they?
They're so professional. Like you walk in, someone's like, "Hi, what are you looking for today?" And I'm like, "Weed." and they'll be like, "Okay, like, tell me a bit about yourself. What are you planning to do today? Are you looking for something to relax? Do you want to go to sleep? Do you need help with, like, you know, inflammation or whatever?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just, you know, usually Doug helps me out."
Yeah.
And then there's like an iPad and you can go through.
Also,
all
is your Australian weed dealer really named Doug?
maybe I don't want to throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
So you go through the iPad and there's like all these flavors. Did you know that diesel is the flavor of weed? Like
Yes.
people look for that.
I did know that, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's
I was
very
like, who chooses diesel or burnt toast?
Did you only have hybrids while you were over there?
No, I did have a sativa and indica as
Indica.
well.
What did you like more?
The hybrid. I just like.
What did you like more between Indica
Oh,
and
these.
Sativa?
Mm,
Or did you have them in their own appropriate circumstances?
yeah,
so
I
it
think
was-
I think it was like it.
Okay.
It's just like beers. It's so circumstance like
based.
based.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I can drink even a shitty beer in the right circumstance.
Yeah.
And still be like,
Yeah, I mean, I
This is
drank
good.
VB with you, so it's the company that makes the beer.
VB's good, okay? I have a VB by myself at home. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, I
And
wouldn't.
that's
I
probably
have
why
one
you
here.
don't get any work done.
He's too busy being a bogan. Bogans don't sit behind the computer. We've nearly finished that front yard at home as well now.
That's cool. I don't know where your front yard is. Like I just,
Fair.
you-
The veranda where the pool was.
okay,
Yeah.
alright, because I'm just like, where does your front yard start? At the
Yeah.
top of the hill? Oh, when you say I finished it, I'm like, oh.
We went after I nearly intentionally ran over the neighbour's cat
Really?
the other day.
Was the cat killing chickens?
No, it wasn't killing chickens, but the night
Killing your
previous.
dogs.
No, but the night previous.
Who was it killing then?
The night previous, the dogs had been going off all night. Like 11, they woke me up. 12, they woke me up. 1, they woke me up. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Anyway, as I was coming down the driveway on my way back from work, I saw a cat sitting in the middle of the driveway, and I thought, because we have ferals out there as well, and from a distance, I was like, feral. And I was like, kill it. Because get rid of the ferals, because they're going for the chickens, that's what they're there for. And because the dogs kept me awake, so fuck the cat. And anyway, got close enough to it, and we went, that looks pretty domestic, better not kill that. Texted the neighbours, and it was their cat. So it would have been a good story to tell them after running over the top of their cat.
What, did it not move out of the way?
That's how I thought it was probably domestic, because I got
Yeah.
close enough to it where I was like, That
So did you
seems...
pick it up or did you just leave
No,
it?
I just left it.
Ah.
It actually took off up the driveway once I got out of the car, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, you're disappearing up the drive now.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we're at like almost an hour.
Mm.
It's probably a good place to leave up.
Yep. Just because I forgot last week when you asked me about giving people a shout out, Big Mike as well, Mike Abel. You remember Mike?
Yeah.
Big Mike.
Yeah.
He's messaged me a couple of times after podcasts.
Big Mike listens to this?
Yeah, Big Mike
I
listens.
love Big Mike.
In fact, I think he might even...
Be our only listener?
Yeah. No, I think he might even link share his phone and watch the YouTube video on his phone. On his TV, sorry.
That is amazing.
Really
Big
good.
Mike,
Thank you,
I
Mike.
hope you can squat well now.
Yes. He deadlifted 200 for the first time the other day.
Fuck yeah, Big Mike.
Which
That's
he-
an amazing feat.
Yeah.
Getting to that 200 kilos, I hope you feel as good as I feel for you.
Yeah.
Because that's really, really cool.
Especially when you have to move the bar about 7 feet.
Yeah, you basically deadlifted 400 kilos.
You have to move it twice as far as me, and your deadlift's still heavier than mine.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Like, you've been training for like 2 years. Steve's been training for like 6
2
years.
years. He's been training for like 4 years.
Okay, 4 years. Steve's been training for like 18 years, and he still can't deadlift 200 kilos.
What a dick. Alrighty. Thanks, guys, listening to Uneducated Opinions podcast number 6. You can find me at SteveNorman250 on Instagram.
Find me at Train with Andy on Instagram.
You can find the Uneducated Opinions podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and then all our links are in the link tree on our Instagram bio.
For sure. Guys, make sure you subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube and click that notification bell so you know when the next episode is up. New episode are happening every week,
Every week.
as long as we can keep the roll going.
Yeah. Even if you are not listening to it on YouTube, go on YouTube and subscribe anyway.
Oh yeah, that'd be really nice because
Help
I'd
us
like
out.
to see that to pass that 0.
Yeah. I'd really like to hit single digits sometime soon. Alrighty, guys. Thank you.